Thank you. So I'm going to do an introduction for the Attorney General. So I was told to stay on script, which is really hard for me, so bear with me. Josh Stein was sworn in his first term as North Carolina's 50th Attorney General in 2017, and his second term in 2021. As Attorney General, he is focused on protecting North Carolina families from crime and consumer fraud. He's working to keep communities safe, recruit and retain well-trained law enforcement officers, keeping children safe online, like we learned today, improve data security, and lead a national effort to combat robocalls. Stein is also leading a national effort to combat the opioid crisis and get treatment and recovering resources for North Carolinians struggling with this terrible addiction. He's helped secure more than $50 billion, again with a B, toward opioid recovery, and is working hard to confront the fentanyl crisis by prosecuting dealers and traffickers, convening the fentanyl task force among local, state, and federal partners. Stein previously served as a state senator, as a senior deputy attorney general in North Carolina of Department of Justice. In those roles, he's successfully led to put more violent criminals behind bars by extending the state DNA database. He wrote the School Safety Act and identifying Identity Theft Reduction Act as well. He's worked to protect our kids online. He's a graduate of Dartmouth. He earned law and public policy degrees from Harvard University, and he and his wife, Ann, have 3 children. May we welcome Attorney General Josh Stein.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be with you all. Bill, thank you for that introduction. Dory, thank you for your leadership. What important work this summit is doing. And I'm really grateful to all of you for taking time to be here. Judge Corpening, always great to see you. I hope that it's been a successful summit. I trust that it has. Each person here works with the young people of North Carolina in some different way or another, whether it's in the classroom, in the schools, in the court system, with nonprofits. It's all about protecting kids. And that is not your job to do alone. It's the most important job of any of us, is keeping the children of North Carolina safe. It's what I've been doing as Attorney General, is protecting the people of North Carolina, especially vulnerable people, especially kids. And I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the ways we've been working on issues that are near and dear to your heart. We want to help children navigate the challenges that they face, to keep them safe so that they can live healthy and happy lives. I know Ben had to leave, right? Ben David was here earlier. I just wanted to say a word of thanks, even in his absence, for his 25 years of work on this. And I know he's retiring, and I heard he's just going to be working on these issues still. What's he doing, Judge? All right. That's what we all aspire to in our retirement, is to work for Judge Corpening. He's just been an incredible partner. And I know he is now transitioning to another way to continue to do this important work that all of you are dedicated to doing as well. And it's a good thing because we have a lot of work to do. This is a tough time for North Carolina's youth. I have 3 kids, and so I know how hard it is to help them navigate the onslaught of challenges that come at them from all directions and very quickly. Our kids are experiencing depression, anxiety, drug misuse, addiction, self-injury, suicide at alarming rates. So much so that the U.S. Surgeon General has declared a youth mental health crisis. And while we all wish that there was a single easy solution to these challenges, we know that there is not. There are too many factors at play. It's much more complicated than that. And as I saw your agenda, I'm impressed with the comprehensive approach that the summit took to these many challenges that our kids face, whether it is trauma or social media or the justice system. Many of these issues overlap, and the work that my office has been doing these past nearly 8 years. One issue, social media. We have a real concern about the way that technology is impacting the emotional and intellectual development of our kids. I don't have to tell you all about the dangers that children get exposed to online. TikTok, Instagram, other social media apps are keeping our kids hooked to their phones for hours out of the day, just so they can sell them more ads and make more money. Middle school students spend about 5.5 hours a day online. High schoolers are spending about 8.5 hours a day connected to the internet. I spent some time talking with some parents here in New Hanover last December, and I heard a lot of concern about how social media apps were disrupting their kids' sleep, their concentration, and their emotional well-being. The apps are exposing children to content that depicts abuse and disturbing sexual imagery, which can warp their understandings of what is a healthy and safe relationship. The companies look at our children not as precious resources to be protected, but as commodities to be exploited. That's why I am part of a bipartisan leadership group of state attorneys general from across the country to look at Meta. We've sued Facebook. We've sued Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, for designing their social media platforms to hook children and teenagers and to deceive the public by claiming that these platforms are safe and suitable for young people. We are also investigating TikTok for very similar concerns. These platforms must do better by our children. Social media is addicting our kids, but it's not the only addictive product they're being exposed to. Kids' brains are still developing well into their 20s. And if young people get addicted to any substance, it doesn't matter which, it forms the neural pathways of addiction in their brains such that it becomes much more likely that they will be addicted to other substances down the road. One company in recent years, Juul, the e-cigarette company, sparked a teen vaping epidemic. I met with children whose lives were turned completely upside down, failing grades, quitting sports, seeking medical treatment for their addiction. Juul designed, marketed, and sold its product, targeting young people, hooking them on nicotine, while the founders and original investors made billions of dollars. I was the first attorney general in the country to take Juul to court for hooking our kids on nicotine, and North Carolina was the first state in the country to hold them accountable, setting a standard the rest of the nation has now followed. We forced Juul to change their marketing and sales practices to better protect young people and won nearly $48 million to help kids conquer their addiction and prevent other children from ever becoming addicted in the first place. Juul, sadly, is not alone in its corporate greed. Purdue Pharma, its owners, the Sackler family, and other drug companies made billions and billions and billions of dollars while millions of Americans got hooked on opioid pills. And I have sat with countless parents across the state, including here in Wilmington, who've lost their children to this disease of addiction, and it absolutely breaks your heart. Overdoses used to be more common in middle-aged and older adults than in young people. That is no longer the case. Opioid overdoses nearly doubled among teenagers, 14 to 18, in a single year, 2019 to 2020, nearly doubled. And then the next year, 2020 to 2021, it increased another 20%. People between 18 and 25 now have the highest rate of illicit prescription pill abuse. Addiction is clearly messing with our young children's heads. So North Carolina led the national bipartisan coalition of state attorneys general to take those big opioid drug companies to court, and we are winning more than $50 billion. Our state share is nearly $1.5 billion. New Hanover County and Wilmington's combined share is $35 million, of which they've already received about $8 million. Those funds have to go to harm reduction, prevention, treatment, or recovery services. It will help people who are sick with addiction enjoy a healthier and happier future. I visited with Margaret Weller-Stargell and the folks at Coastal Horizon a few years ago. Any Coastal Horizon people here? Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you do. And we talked about ways we can help people who are addicted. And medication-assisted therapy, medication-assisted treatment provides a very hopeful path towards helping folks overcome their dependence on morphine molecules. It's a kind of treatment that needs to be made more available across the state. These solutions and others that our funds have helped get off the ground reduce demand for opioids, but we also have to reduce supply. That's why I convened a statewide fentanyl task force of local, state, and federal law enforcement so that we can work together to better cooperate to fight the drug traffickers who are bringing now what is fentanyl. It started out as opioid pills, then it became a heroin crisis, and now it's a fentanyl crisis. It's all the same chemical molecule. It's just it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to manufacture, which makes it difficult for those of us who are combating it. Too many North Carolinians are dying of overdoses, so we must keep at this work to keep our kids healthy and that they stay healthy. The last subject I want to talk about is the work we do at the Department of Justice to protect kids from abuse, particularly sex abuse. Earlier this summer, I got opportunity to visit the Carousel Center here in Wilmington. Any Carousel Center people here? All right, they do incredible work who are helping child sex abuse victims survive and heal from that abuse so that they can become survivors. In 2019, my office drafted and championed the Safe Child Act to protect kids wherever they are, whether they're at school, whether they're at play, whether they're at church, whether they're at camp, whether they are online. There is now a duty for every adult above the age of 18 who has reason to believe a child is being abused to report it to law enforcement. Kind of amazes me that that was not a requirement of anyone adult in the past. It is now. And online, the Safe Child Act bars high-risk sex offenders from having any contact with kids under the age of 16. We recently, just this past summer, drafted and championed legislation to modernize our laws against sex crimes to account for the use of artificial intelligence. The bill, which the General Assembly passed unanimously and Governor Cooper signed into law, gives law enforcement and prosecutors the tools they need to protect kids and adults from AI sex crimes, whether it's child pornography, revenge porn, or sextortion. When we come together across party lines, we can actually get good things done for the people of this state. With so many challenges facing our kids, addiction, social media, crime, they cannot deal with these issues alone. It takes all of us together to support them. Having you in their corners, you as their champions, you as their emotional support is a huge and important start. And I want to thank all the folks who do this work in the community with our children. I'm going to keep fighting for you, for our teachers, for our students, for our schools, for our families. The work will not ever end. It certainly won't be solved overnight. But we can make progress, and that's what we should aspire to do at every turn. Nothing is more important than protecting our young people And God willing, I look forward to doing that work with you all in the months and years to come. Thank you for having me today, and thank you for what each and every one of you does.
Thank you, Attorney General. We appreciate those words, and we want to thank you with our rubber duck. We have a small budget, but that will work. So you probably didn't get one of those yet, so there you go.
My first rubber duck.
All right, there you go. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.